All right, today we're diving into a cosmetic procedure you might not hear about every day, but it's definitely out there and gaining some serious traction. We're talking about calf augmentation. And it's not always just about looks, it's also about restoring what was lost. So, let's get right into it.
So, let's start with the most obvious question: why? Why would someone go through surgery for their calves? We've all been there at the gym, right? Trying to build them up, but for some people, it doesn't matter how many calf raises they do. Genetics, or maybe an old injury, just makes it an uphill battle. And that's exactly where calf augmentation steps in.
So what is it exactly? Well, at its core, calf augmentation is all about adding size, shape, or definition to the lower leg. And surgeons basically have two main tools in their toolkit to get it done. They can use silicone implants, which give a really dramatic change, or they can use the person's own body fat for a more subtle, natural contour. We're going to break both of those down.
What's really fascinating here are the reasons people seek this out. They kind of fall into two big camps. On one side, you've got the aesthetic reasons. People who feel their calves are too thin, or maybe one is smaller than the other, and they just want that strong, athletic look. But then there's this whole other side, the reconstructive purpose. This is for people who've had serious injuries or were born with conditions like clubfoot or polio that affected their muscle development. For them, it's about regaining a sense of balance and normalcy.
Okay, so if someone decides to go forward, they hit a major fork in the road. It's the big decision: implants or fat. These are two completely different approaches, so let's explore what each one actually involves.
Let's talk about option one first: silicone implants. This is by far the most common method, especially when someone wants a really noticeable and, importantly, predictable increase in size. You could almost think of this as the architectural approach. You're literally building a new, defined shape.
And how do they do it? Well, the procedure is actually pretty clever. The surgeon makes a small cut, but they hide it right in that natural crease behind your knee, so any scar is barely visible. Then, they create a little pocket right on top of the main calf muscle. That's the gastrocnemius, the big one that gives your calf its curve. Finally, the implant is just slipped into that pocket. It's all about precision placement.
Now for the other path, fat grafting. If implants are the architectural approach, think of this as the sculpting approach. Here, you're using the body's own natural material, fat, to artistically add volume and create a softer, more organic-looking contour.
This one is basically a three-step journey. First, the surgeon uses liposuction to harvest fat from another part of the body, usually somewhere like the stomach or thighs. Step 2, that fat gets processed, spun in a centrifuge actually, to purify it and separate out the healthiest, most viable fat cells. And finally, that purified fat is carefully injected back into the calves to add volume right where it's needed.
So, the million-dollar question: how do you choose? It really comes down to your personal goals. If you want that wow factor, a big, predictable change, implants are probably your answer, especially if you're naturally thin and don't have a lot of extra fat to donate. But if you're after a more subtle enhancement, something that looks and feels totally natural, fat grafting is an amazing option. And hey, you get the little side benefit of contouring the area where the fat was taken from.
Of course, the surgery itself is just the beginning. The recovery period is just as important. So let's walk through what you can expect in the weeks and months that follow.
Okay, let's be real. Right after the procedure, you're going to feel it. You can absolutely expect some swelling, some soreness, and a definite feeling of tightness in your calves. Walking might feel a little awkward and difficult for a bit, but that's all totally normal. It's just your body doing its thing and starting to heal.
So what does that healing journey look like? Well, within the first week or two, the bruising starts to fade and walking gets progressively easier. The really big milestone is around the 4 to 6 week mark. That's when most people get the green light to return to the gym and other strenuous activities. But for seeing the final result, you gotta be patient. Implants can take 3 to 6 months to fully settle into place, while fat grafting can take even longer, up to a year for the swelling to completely go down and the fat to establish its new home.
Now, we've talked about the good stuff, but with any surgery, you have to talk about the other side of the coin. It's all about balancing that amazing final outcome with the potential risks and complications.
This quote really just nails the long-term trade-off you're making. Implants are durable, they're predictable, you know what you're going to get. Fat grafting, on the other hand, gives you that softer, supernatural look, but, and this is a big but, you might need to go back for a touch-up later on.
And that brings us to a really crucial number for anyone thinking about fat grafting. Your body is smart, and it will naturally absorb some of that newly transferred fat. We're talking anywhere from 20 to 50% of it. It's just part of the process. And that's exactly why some people might need a second round to get to their ultimate goal.
And when you look at the risks side by side like this, you can see a really clear difference in the type of risk. With implants, the more serious concerns tend to be mechanical, things like the implant rotating out of position or the body forming hard scar tissue around it. With fat grafting, the risks are more biological, the possibility that the fat doesn't survive properly, which could lead to asymmetry or the formation of little cysts. It's basically a man-made material versus a natural.
So, let's wrap this all up. What are the big takeaways? First, implants are your go-to for predictable, significant volume. Second, fat grafting is all about a natural look, but the results can be a bit less certain. Third, no matter which you choose, plan on about 4 to 6 weeks of taking it easy. And finally, both results are long-lasting, but with fat, you might be looking at a future touch-up.
You know, all of this leads to a much bigger question, doesn't it? As technology gives us more and more incredible ways to change and reshape our bodies, how do we decide where to draw the line between enhancement and authenticity? What does it even mean to be natural? It's something to think about, and it's a conversation that's only going to get more complex from here. Thanks for joining us.